Adventures in Gaming
with Big Man Anthony
and Little Man George.
Have you heard any Steam news?
Steam Deck 2?
You've heard of the Steam Deck 2?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's some news going around that recently came out about the Steam Deck OS that's going to be available for like PC makers to make computers that won't come with Windows or Mac or any operating system except for Steam OS. So I don't know if you've ever used Steam OS, but it's very similar to like any console, like a Xbox, a PlayStation, and stuff like that. So the idea was to make an OS that's very user-friendly for people who are in PC, because that's what's annoying about PC, right? The fact that you can't just like throw in a game and start, right?
Especially for console gamers.
Drivers. Yeah, you got to configure drivers. The other day, somebody was asking me, "Why aren't you on PC? Like, why?" And I'm like, "Man, I used to have the best PCs, top of the line, and all this, and I'd always constantly have some issues with some drivers, with everything, because when you buy the newest, greatest, latest thing, it's just not. It wasn't tested all together. You know, like the best graphics driver wasn't tested with the best. Back then was the best sound like card, which was those what are those cards called? I forgot. But the point was that whatever you mixed in, right, it just wouldn't work together. The motherboard or whatever, the new memory that came out, and so I have to be talking with companies and making them make new drivers to work. So instead, he goes online. He's like, okay, we'll play together. I'll be on PC and I'm going to be on the PlayStation Pro, right? And next thing you know, he goes on and the first thing he says, "Oh wait, I got to configure some drivers." And I was like, "You see, that's exactly what I'm talking about."
What console gamers don't like.
With that. It's like you spend more time configuring and fixing and arranging and then also playing around with like what settings to put, like whether you should put raindrops or not, ray tracing or what degree of ray tracing, all that. And it kind of just put me at like, it turns you off. You spend so much time in that, and some people like it, but I'm just tired of it. So I moved to console, and what SteamOS is doing is they're consoleizing PCs. So now the idea is that you buy a PC, and when you get it, if it has SteamOS in it, it's going to have a console interface. So you just download the games just like you with Xbox. It automatically works. You have you have a console interface, and you can buy a PC that's certified to work. So you don't have to worry about drivers or anything. It already comes out of the box working. So technically, that's a console. It's a console. That's exactly what a Xbox is. It's a PC certified by Xbox that has their operating system Xbox working for them, right? So the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I know we're not even PC people, but the reason why I'm bringing it up is because Xbox,
especially me.
Yeah. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because Xbox is thinking of doing the same thing.
Well, I was going to say,
what Steam is doing.
If you're talking about consoleizing Steam, I think that makes a lot of sense for them, since they're in the handheld PC market now with the Steam Deck, and they are kind of targeting a more casual audience with the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
And having a console-like experience, with a Steam Deck, makes a lot of sense for them to expand their market share, because I don't think a lot of people want a PC experience in a handheld. I think you want to, be able to pick up and play a handheld. You don't want to do what you were just saying, where you're going through settings and, every little detail. You kind of want the console to do that for you and just deliver the game to you so you could start playing right away. Especially if you're playing handheld and maybe you're taking it with you like on a commute where you don't have a lot of time to go through all these settings. You kind of just want to play, as much as you can, and then, just pick up again later. You don't want to go through settings and everything like that. But there's also rumors of maybe even a Steam console, which they used to have years ago, and now they're talking about maybe bringing back, some form of a Steam console, which again, if they consoleize it like you're saying, that would be, a new console on the market, so
yeah, technically, and it's a console that really, I mean, Steam has become the interface for all PC users. PC users is like, that's where they're buying their games now. They're not buying it directly from EA, from the publishers. They're buying them through Steam, and they have their collection in Steam. They use the Steam launcher to be able to play it. and some people are already using the Lynx OS version of Steam.
Have you thought
But
about getting a Steam Deck?
I thought about it, but and I'm still debating it. But honestly, Steam is the thing. The thing that turns me off, honestly, and there are defects within Steam, is that because it's not designed for a portable setting, some of the menus are going to look tiny.
Yeah.
You know, some of the things are just not going to fit right in a portable because it's designed for a desktop, beautiful environment with big, and it's designed to have a mouse and keyboard, not to be designed to be a portable. They made it into a portable, and hopefully in the future, the games will have a Steam Deck interface.
Mm-hmm.
But as of now, what's interesting right now, because this is the latest thing that's happening in gaming right now, is that between Meta with the VR, which they're the ones number one right now on VR, right? And between Steam Deck, which is like the alternative to consoles, and now Xbox, they all want to make. Xbox jumped in on this bandwagon recently and announced that they want to make an OS so that other publishers, like let's say like Dell, can make a Xbox. And remember when they were saying like anything could be an Xbox,
Like the
and
3DO?
yeah, everyone made fun of it, but yeah, it's kind of like the 3DO, but the difference is they're not expecting a console. It's going to be a PC, right? That can also possibly do dual purpose. So if you want it to be like a PC, let's say you turn it on with this button, and then if you want it to be a console, you turn it on with this button, and it just launches into an Xbox. And that way you don't have to worry about it, but it's going to be Xbox certified. So you don't have to worry about drivers. You don't have to worry about anything. I always thought of something similar, like Xbox, if they were to release a new model. I like the fact that it was squared like a PC, and it would have been so cool to have like something like I push in and it pops out. Now I could change the graphics drivers. I push in and pop out. I could change the memory, because that's the one thing that like I think console people always feel left out with PC. Like, oh man, look, like PC got a new graphics card. Like, oh, that'd be so cool if we could get that. If we could upgrade like the Nintendo Switch. Like, there was so many games, and they probably want to put some games out that they couldn't,
Mm-hmm.
but they weren't ready to upgrade on the new model. So this is the alternative, and that's also what right now Meta is doing. I think the first one that's coming out is going to be from Razer or ROG. Yeah, it's going to be a more powerful like version of what's already out right now, which is the Meta Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be using the Meta OS, so it's going to be using the Quest OS. I mean, which is going to allow them to have other manufacturers make that headset, and some manufacturers are willing to risk making higher end devices, and some of them will be willing to risk to make lower end devices. So it's going to become almost like phones androids are, where there's a big market of phones out there and you can buy within this one or that one, unlike, let's say, Apple is more of like the way consoles are right now, where you just buy that, you can only buy the software within it, and you're kind of stuck into that ecosystem.
Which I like.
Which is one of the things that's nice about the ecosystem, is that um those consoles are going to have the same games, the same ecosystem, the same everything. The only thing that changes is that now you can pick your hardware, which is nice. And there's going to be more availability. And so, what do you think about that? Because everyone was making fun of Xbox for calling everything an Xbox, like a
Mm-hmm.
TV, laptop,
Yeah.
everything was an Xbox, a streaming device. I thought it was cool. I think it was ingenious, but I think it's ahead of its time. It's good for like casual players, but it's ahead of their time. And I feel like the direction that they're taking, where now PC makers can consoleize a PC, is a better move. But I don't know. What do you think?
I don't like Xbox calling everything an Xbox.
Yeah.
I think an Xbox should be an Xbox and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of them almost telling you that you don't need an Xbox to play Xbox.
Yeah.
Because then what's the reason to buy an Xbox?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't figure out why they think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
They are in the hardware business,
Yeah.
whether they like it or
Like it or
not,
not.
or
Yeah.
whether they admit it or not. I mean, I mean, just a few months ago, they were selling a $600 Xbox, the 2 terabyte Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
with like a limited edition paint job. I mean, if you're selling a $600 console, you're in the console market. Um, and then at the lower end, they have the Series S, which I think is a good idea, although, it might become a problem at some point if they can't get some games to run on the Series S.
Yeah.
But to me, they're telling you don't buy an Xbox. You don't have to buy an Xbox. I think that is just a ridiculous way to market your console. And if you just go back to like Xbox 360, which was just 2 generations ago, I mean, they were at the top of their game. They would never say something like that in 2005, 6, 7, 8. You know what I mean? It's such a strange strategy that I mean, in some ways they're getting out of it. Like they're getting out of the console business, and I don't think it's a good idea. I think that they're not that far removed from being, in the game, just like Nintendo and PlayStation. So I don't know why they're doing this. I don't know that anyone really even cares that much. Like what? And then what is an Xbox? I'm just gonna stream it on
It's a
a
cool
Fire
thing to
Stick.
have for, like, let's say in a hotel, you're staying at a hotel and they give you the option to like have an Xbox on the TV through a, like, let's say an app on the TV, and you can just log in and play your games remotely. That's a cool option for
It's a
Xbox
good
to have, but I
option,
don't
but
think they
it's
should
not an
market
Xbox.
like, yeah, not an Xbox. Yeah,
Yeah.
they shouldn't market it as an Xbox
No,
like you're
they should
saying.
call that Game Pass.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So you
yeah.
could you could
Game Pass
play,
Cloud or something.
right,
Yeah,
access your library through Game Pass on a
Cloud.
streaming device.
Yeah,
But don't say, oh, anything's an Xbox. And it goes beyond that too. I mean, they are releasing some of their first party games on other consoles now, right? I mean, they're even talking about this week. There's rumors of the Halo collection, the Master Chief collection, coming out
yeah,
on Switch too. So
yeah.
they're giving up all of their IP. Indiana Jones is coming out on PlayStation. They had other games come out on PlayStation and Nintendo. I mean,
Yeah.
it kind of started with Cuphead and Ori, where they were giving up those exclusive games,
Yeah.
and to me, it's like, sometimes when people are debating Nintendo, I mean, one of the reasons they've been able to stay relevant is that they don't give up their IP to anyone, except, they have some smartphone games. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think that you need to develop your IP and hold on to them, and that's the reason you buy their console. And of course, you have the third party games, and it's cool to play those on multiple platforms. That's the way it's always been. If you go back, as far back as video games go, there's always been third party games on multiple consoles, but I don't get their strategy, and I'm not sure where it's going. They do have a show on Thursday. I don't think they're going to talk new
Showcase. Yeah.
hardware. Yeah, they're not going to talk new hardware. But like I said, there's a rumor of, they've already mentioned that they're working on their next system,
Hmm.
and I recently heard a code name was Xbox Prime, which might be wrong. I don't know. It's just a rumor, but I don't know if that means a next gen console or maybe it's something else. Maybe it is like a streaming box to deliver Game Pass on, and maybe I think Xbox is going to be the first system to get out of the physical game business. I think they are going to be all digital very soon. I don't think they're going to continue with physical games much longer. What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to get out of the physical game business?
I don't know. I think it is probably going to be with, depending on what their users. The Xbox does listen a lot to their users. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that compared to PlayStation, I don't even have a spot to even put a, like, where I can request things. While Xbox is constantly requesting a stuff from people who are playing Xbox while you're
Mm-hmm.
playing it, which is why I think they have one of the best interfaces. I prefer it over the PlayStation's interface. I prefer the store. I prefer their filtering systems. Like, if I want to play co-op with somebody, I can literally just put co-op games, and it'll just give me all the co-op games I can play in the store, so that I can play with you. I could do that if I want to play. Let's say if I could just want to look at my library, put all the co-op games I can play with my friends. Whether I want to play multiplayer games with them or co-op. that kind of stuff, or whether I want to play a couch co-op because he's here with me today. I like a lot of things about their interface. So it made sense that when they heard about what's going on with Steam,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of jumped on the bandwagon really quick because they said this about what you're saying. They said we wanted to make everything an Xbox because we believed that we bought a lot of studios, we spent a lot of money, and all that money that we bought for studios and games, we would like it to be everywhere available so that we can get as much money back.
Mm-hmm.
So every time that whether that you buy it on a Nintendo, whether you buy it wherever, we're still going to get paid for that, right? And that's what they were caring about. But then it's more like when you were saying they're becoming a software company then,
They're
which is a lot
becoming
of
a
people saying
right
that.
like Sega
Yeah,
almost.
yeah. It's becoming like a Sega. And then why are you keep releasing hardware systems? But then it's because they were in between. Like, what should we do? Should we eliminate hardware? But apparently, people don't want us to eliminate hardware. And so here is the middle ground, which is what I kind of liked, is them offering the ability to be put onto PC as an OS to be able for them to have an Xbox experience for to bring in PC players like the Steam players, which Steam keeps growing and growing, and be the competition for Steam. So you can buy a PC that's Xbox certified, that you turn it on and it's an Xbox. It's gonna have you could possibly buy better specs, more up to date specs, and it's certified by Xbox, so you know it's gonna work. But at the same time, I think that it's gonna bring the ability for them to pull in PC users. I think that's what everyone's trying to pull. They're trying to pull these PC users
Would
that
they
are
ever? Would Xbox ever have Steam on an Xbox?
Steam on an
Yeah.
Xbox. Well, you know what's really interesting is Meta has both Steam. They just announced recently Steam and Xbox. So first Xbox, and then they announced Steam on it. So now the Meta Quest, that dumb little VR system, can literally play on a 109-inch TV when you have it on your eyes, and you can see 110-inch screen TV and play both Xbox and Steam games, and you can even curve the screen around you to give yourself like a 180 look into it, so it feels almost like you're in a VR environment. Uh, and there's a lot of people who have also modded it so that they can feel like more where some games are not designed for VR, but they make them first person games go into VR, like Cyberpunk. So it's kind of cool that they actually did something like that. So can Xbox have Steam in there? I don't know. I don't think they would. I think that's their competition. I don't think they would do that.
Yeah, I think there were even rumors of, Game Pass going to Nintendo Switch or even PlayStation. I don't think either of those would happen. I don't think I think that Nintendo and Microsoft have a good relationship,
Yeah,
but I think Nintendo wouldn't allow, a video game app basically
yeah.
on their system. I don't think that would happen. So I could see Xbox not wanting Steam, on
On the
their
Steam OS,
yeah, Steam
but
OS on their console.
Ant streaming is on PlayStation and on Xbox. I don't know if you know about Ant streaming.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
It's an app that allows you to stream retro
Yeah,
games,
you told me
which
about it.
I
Yeah,
purchased
you
it.
told
It's
me about this
awesome.
actually.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
told you about this
right.
before, and it allows you to play like 100 and something
Yeah.
Steam like retro games. I love it. I love it.
But that's not
It's really
competition.
cool.
You know what I mean? That's not like real.
No, it's not a competition because yeah, exactly because the type of games they are,
Yeah.
they're retro games. But I'll tell you, because the games are so simple, there's no lag. Like you know how you have to play those games twitchy because it's retro games. I don't really feel the lag, and I think there's a reason. I think because they're so low end, they temporarily store it when you play the game. It gives like a
Yeah,
little
because they're so
loading,
small.
and what I think is it just downloads the whole game, stores it, and when you stop playing it, it just deletes it. I think that's what it does.
So, what do you think Xbox next console is? What do you think it's another full-fledged Xbox, high-end, latest hardware type of game console, or do you think they go in a different direction?
I think they will have a new system. Obviously, they already kind of announced it, and
Yeah.
everyone is expecting it. I don't think they're going to have one after that, and I'll tell you why. Because they
So
haven't
you
really
think they're
set
going
up
to do one more traditional console?
one more traditional console, and I
Okay.
believe that the rest of them maybe they'll keep releasing one under Xbox, just like they have. I don't know if you've ever seen like the Microsoft. They have their own computers too,
Hmm.
right? The Surface
The Surface, yeah.
laptops, right? So maybe they have that as like, let's say, the model for the other people to make, you know. But I think that they're leaning against hardware and leaning towards selling the operating system like they sell Windows. They're always been like, Microsoft is an operating system company. They've always been that. So by selling a gaming operating system to other manufacturers who are selling the devices, and how cool would it be like for them to like, let's say they did that today, right?
Yeah.
And
I'm
tomorrow
using
Dell,
Windows 98 right now still,
yeah.
just so you know.
So let's so let's say tomorrow Dell comes out with a computer, right? They'll have a computer that, let's say, has twice the power of the Xbox Series S for like, let's say, $1,200. So it's like obviously as much, but PC people spend up to $5,000, right? So like, I could see people spending the money on it. I could see people bragging about how much more frames they have than like a PlayStation, and I could see PlayStation not knowing what to do at that point when that hits the fan. So I do see that. I'm excited about that whole thing that they're going to give out that OS and sell it. And then on top of that, they're saying not only are they making money on the sale of the OS, they're making money on the certification of those PCs, and they're also making money on like certified accessories and certified, and also in the store all the games that they're going to sell. So that's a win for Xbox. I know it's not traditional and you don't like that, um, but I think it's an interesting strategy for the future. And I see Meta doing it. I see Steam doing it. So there has to be a competition. And who knows? Maybe that's the one thing that pushes PlayStation and the big ones like, uh, God forbid, Nintendo
Don't
out
say
of
that.
that circle
Stop it. They'll never
in the
get out of the
future. We're not
console
saying now.
business.
We're not saying now.
Listen, well, I always look back when we talk like this. I always look back at Sega, and I think that they are the best example of like a successful console manufacturer, right? Sega,
When, yeah,
that got out of the console business and became a
yeah,
third party company. And they're pretty successful at being a third party company. They're getting all their new retro games
yeah,
ready. I think, you know, over the next couple of years, we're going to see all those games that they showed come out.
yeah,
But I don't know that you associate Xbox as much with games. I mean, they bought a lot of studios. They own Activision now, you know, so Call of Duty is theirs, but it's not necessarily like saying, "Oh, Sonic the Hedgehog is Sega." You know,
yeah,
I don't know if they have that
yeah.
that identity,
Identity.
yeah,
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
much.
Yeah, I
So
don't think they do. I agree with you. There's not, besides
they have
Halo,
Halo, you
another one
know,
that I can think
yeah,
of. You know,
they have a
there's other
lot.
ones I can think of, but they're not that popular. Like it's not like a popular thing to say that the Xbox makes their own games. And when
Yeah,
they
they
said
just
this
buy a lot of
to
studios.
yeah, when they said this to Xbox, they just answered, you know what? It's okay because we're still selling those games
Yeah,
and we're still making the
they're
money
making the money,
on
but
those
how
games. So
exciting
when we
is
bought
that
those
for their
IPs,
fans?
when we bought those IPs, you know what? Maybe you don't see them as exclusives, but at the same time, they're being sold, and those games are the most popular games on other consoles, and we're selling them. So I can see that they're looking at the money factor on that, and so like I said, it's a different way that they're definitely taking gaming, and it's not traditional, and it could hit, and it could be a big hit, and it could also be their downfall.
But the funny thing is, when they were more traditional, if you go
Yeah,
back to like the original Xbox
yeah.
and the 360, so two
I think the more
generations,
successful you're gonna get
they
to.
were more successful being
Yeah,
traditional.
yeah, yeah,
And now they're going in a completely different direction
yeah.
where basically, you know, Nintendo is still traditional and PlayStation is still
So
traditional and they're
traditional,
both
yeah,
very successful.
yeah.
And Xbox was traditional and successful.
I think they're trying to find their way, and I think that they're trying to be in that next big change. Because let's face it, like the reason why Sega failed was because they never saw the big change that was coming with 3D. They kind of stuck to the 2D, and I love the fact that they stuck to the 2D because I preferred that back then. But they didn't see the change,
No,
you
one
know.
generation too long they waited.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
one generation too long before they really hit the 3D. And so a lot of things happen like that. I mean, there's a lot of failed systems like that. Neo Geo failed because they never changed, you know, they had the CD player too late. They had all the only fighting games available. They categorized themselves as one fighting games only in that system, even though they had a whole bunch of great games besides that. And on news of Neo Geo, really quick, they're saying that they have money for AAA games that they're going to be popping out very soon. How much we should believe in that, I don't know, but just wanted to throw that out there.
I've been playing King of Fighters 15,
Oh, really?
which is really good. A lot
It
of
is
fun.
is
It
really
looks
good.
great. It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, I know. I just think the future of Xbox is going to be very interesting. I really,
On that topic that you bought, that
yeah,
I've been wanting to bring another topic, but really quick before we leave Xbox, did you hear about the controller,
the
the new
Xbox
controller?
controller.
Yeah, the new one.
No.
Yeah. So they're releasing a controller. There's an Xbox controller that released that has all the features that the PlayStation controller has. So it's kind of
Oh, it's a
interesting.
third party.
Yeah.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
seen it. Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
just like a PlayStation 5 controller. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not a Microsoft controller though.
No, but they're going to support it.
Yeah, I've
So
seen
that's
it.
interesting
Yes, I have seen
because
it.
that means people are thinking, okay, so if they're supporting a third party company doing this, that means they might bring out their own version of that
I don't
controller.
think they should because I prefer the Xbox style controller to a PlayStation. It's
I do too.
basically the same as the Nintendo Pro controller,
Yeah.
right? With the two thumbsticks being
Yeah.
offset, which I
Yeah.
prefer. I
Yeah.
prefer the thumbsticks, the analog sticks being
Most
offset.
PC players do too. I think it's only PlayStation people who really do prefer that style, and also I think it's a very popular thing with Nintendo, right? Because Nintendo has it like a PlayStation.
No,
Yeah.
Nintendo has it like an Xbox.
Well, I mean, now they do because of you
The
know,
Switch Pro controller and the Xbox controller have the same
yeah,
configuration.
yeah,
The
yeah,
PlayStation is different,
yeah. But
but I
old school
prefer the
Nintendo,
Xbox
yeah.
Nintendo style.
I do, I
Yeah,
do, I do. Why have you never bought the Evercade?
I've thought about it. I've
Yeah,
thought about it, but you have one, right?
yeah. No, I have one, and it boggles my mind because I think you thought it was going to be like a fail, but honestly, it was so nice because it comes with these plastic hard cases,
Oh, I
kind of like
like
the
it.
old
I
Neo
do
Geo
like
or
it.
or like the Sega or Nintendo. And you open it up, has little cartridges, and inside they have the nice graphics outside.
Hmm.
And these are licensed games. You're
Yeah,
not getting like something like, let's say, like, this is the old one that I have. There's a new one that came out,
yeah,
right? and
and they have
and
a
this
console.
and this is supposed to be one of the best retro
Yeah,
systems right now. And you have the physical cartridges in here, just like, you know but this is the old system. They have a new one that looks exactly like the Switch 2. Look at it. It's flat black, very beautiful, bigger screen.
yeah. I mean, if I had, I do like it, and I know they're doing like a lot of collections of games.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think I'm just assuming most of those games are available
No,
on the
no, no,
Nintendo Switch.
no, 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 no. That's the thing you got to understand. That's what most people expect it, but they're not. They're such weird games. They have all arcade games, right? They have a lot of the
There's a lot of arcade games on the
there's a
Switch,
lot
though.
of arcade games, a lot of Atari games, a lot of like those weird game systems. In fact, they even have a lot of third party Turbo Graphics games.
Wait a second. The entire Atari library is on the Switch.
What?
The entire Atari library is on the Switch.
It's on the Switch, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I just thought a lot of
No,
those
no, no.
games.
I know that those games are there, but what I was gonna tell you, and the reason why I think you would like it is because a lot of these mini systems and a lot of these games
You didn't think I
don't have
had that right
third
there.
don't have third party. Yeah, no, it's funny. Don't have third party. I thought somebody was handing it to
No,
you.
I just happen to have it right here.
Uh, People don't have third party. Like the third party games. Like whenever the mini systems comes out, the first thing people complain about is why did these games come out? And then it's like, oh, because those aren't official Nintendo games. Well, on the Evercade, it's actually you can get those third party games. they even have the whole collection of Links system games in here. They said that we're gonna get to a little bit more graphical games like I think PS1 was some of the games that they were gonna do. But what I'm trying to say to you is,
Not Sony games though.
oh my god, this system, just so you know, this system has more games than the 3DO, Sega 32, the Atari Jaguar combined. So it's ridiculous. You should go look at the games on there for
I
the
have watched
Evercade.
some videos about it. I've actually, taken interest in it. I haven't
They
bought
even
it.
made a home console now.
They have a home
So they only
console,
had
yeah.
portables, and now they made a home console now. So I mean, if there's keep making new systems, this is the third. This is the first generation. They made a second generation. They're on the third generation of the portable, and now they have a home console. I think they made two generations of those. There's a reason why people are buying them. Like, I mean, so I definitely would recommend that for
Yeah,
you.
I might get it one day.
And then talking about that and the mini systems, aren't we both glad that we bought that Turbo Graphics
Yeah, you
Mini?
told me the value. See, I knew that they were hard to get now. We're talking
Yeah,
about the TurboGrafx Mini that
yeah.
came out a few years ago, which I have. Um, I hardly play it, but I'm glad I have it, and one day I'll set it up and play it. But yeah, you told me the
Oh,
price
you
went
haven't
up a
played it
lot,
yet?
right? Huh?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I
No,
love it.
I've played it. I mean, I have it. I just recently actually
Yeah.
I boxed it back up, but no, you told me the value went up a lot, so that's interesting.
Yeah, the value went up a lot. It went. I mean, last time I checked, it was like $500 on Amazon, and I'm sure there's other scalpers trying to sell those for even more. And the reason why is because those games were the value has gone up because they're not available everywhere.
Right.
Like it's not like a Neo Geo. Like I mean, as much as I love Neo Geo, like I don't want a mini because I have almost every game on like the Switch. I
Hmm.
have it on the Xbox,
Yeah,
PlayStation.
almost their whole
And so
library is available
at this
somewhere.
point, like, do I need more and more copies of the Neo Geo games? Like, as much as I like them, I don't need more copies of the Neo Geo. And what I would like, and maybe that would make me buy, is that I feel like mini systems are missing out because they never put Wi-Fi in them. So I would love to see a mini system like where I can actually play with my friend, like a couch co-op but online, right? So I can play a two-player game, but with my friend online. So if you bought a mini system and I bought a mini system, we could both play that same game. That back in the days you wouldn't be able to do that kind of stuff. Another reason why I would like mini systems to do is like, why not use Bluetooth controllers? So like you can just instead they give you these long wires. Nobody wants wires anymore.
Well, they usually sell the Bluetooth separately.
It's like a converter kit, but
Yeah,
why not just add that onto the mini system? Like, I mean,
yeah, they
that's
don't have
another
it
thing
out
that
of the
that
box like that.
yeah, that drives me crazy. And then the last thing is that on mini systems is that why don't they add a store? Because why do they limit it to like, okay, you got 200 games, that's it. Like, what happens if, okay, I get you didn't have the license for the other ones. Try to get the license, and if you get them, add them to the store. And then we keep buying
That's a
more,
good
right?
idea. Listen, we
Yeah.
touched on a million subjects in this one video.
I know. We had a lot to talk about.
All right, already with this video.
I'm good too.
All right.